Hello, my name is Savannah, and we here at Express Tax Exempt are excited to have you here with us today. I want to welcome everyone to the Express Tax Exempt webinar. The first part of 2020 is behind us, which means one thing: tax time is here. Being overwhelmed might seem inevitable, but you're in luck. I'm here to help you prepare and file your annual return so that you'll be off to a great start for a successful tax season. Express Tax Exempt is an industry-leading IRS-authorized e-file provider. We love helping our clients learn more about taxes, and we have years and years of experience helping nonprofit organizations like yours with their filing needs. However, we are not tax advisors. If you need any assistance preparing returns or with any other specific tax-related questions, please consult a certified tax preparer or the IRS. So today we're going to talk about the Form 990-PF. We're going to talk about what that form is, who has to file it, the information required when filing, the deadline, and how you file that form. So the Form 990-PF is a return for private foundations or Section 4947A1 trust treated as private foundations. And if you are an exempt private foundation, a taxable private foundation, organizations that agreed to private foundation status, but their exempt status is pending on the filing due date of the 990-PF, you have to file this form, as well as organizations that claim private foundation status but haven't yet applied for the exemption status and whose application isn't yet untimely under the Section 508A for retroactive reconciliation of exemption, recognition of exemption. So when filing a Form 990-PF, there's various information that is required. The first thing that you'll have to enter in is your organization details. And then you'll have to have revenue, expense amounts, the assets, liabilities, capital gains and losses, statements regarding activities, officer, director, trustee information, income information, and any schedules that apply to your organization are things that you will be required when filing that form. Now we'll move on to what the 990-PF deadline is. So the 990-PF is due on the 15th day of the 5th month following the close of the foundation's tax year. So if the due date falls on a Saturday or a Sunday or a legal holiday, it moves to the next business day. So for 2021, in August 15th, in 2020, August 15th is on a Saturday, so that due date would be moved to the 17th. Okay. So now we're going to get a little bit into the form and talk about Express Tax Exempt and what the form is. So with filing with Express Tax Exempt, if you haven't already created an account, you can do that and begin filing today at www.expresstaxexempt.com, and you'll just click sign in to get started if you have an account, or register if you do not have one. Express Tax Exempt is a comprehensive, full-service tax filing product that guarantees competitive pricing, saving you time and money. Not only will we e-file your forms, you will receive an email confirmation after transmittal, acceptance, or rejection by the IRS, and you can print everything right from your account. So now we're going to go and move into the form and talk about what's required when filing and see a little bit what the 990-PF is about. So when you first get into the form, the first thing that it's going to ask you for is your organization's calendar year, begin date and end date. You'll, of course, have to enter in the name of your foundation, the address, EIN number, and then you'll want to answer questions A through J. Those can vary from a phone number to foreign organization information, the type of organization, if you're a 501c3, or anything like that, you would answer that here. We'll move down into part 1, which is the analysis of revenue and expenses. So the first part is for revenue, and you'll enter in contributions, gifts and grants, dividends and interest, capital gains, gross profit, things like that will be reported here. And then you'll move down to operating and administrative expenses. So compensation for officers, directors, trustees, other employees, other professional fees, all of that's reported here under this operating and administrative expense section. We're going to move right along into part 2, which is the balance sheet. The first part off to the side, you'll see where 1 through 16 is for assets. This section is used to report the beginning of the year book value and the end of the year book value and fair market value of assets. Things such as investments, grants, and other assets are reported here as well. The next section in part 2 is liabilities. So accounts payable, grants payable, loans from officers, etc. are reported in this section. And whenever you get down to line 23, you will get that total by subtracting lines 17 through 22. And then we have the net assets and fund balances section. Net assets from donor restrictions, capital stock, retaining earnings from some examples of what are being reported in this section. The total net assets or fund balances, as well as total liabilities of net assets, fund balances, will also be reported here if your organization follows the ASC 985. In part 3, you'll report the analysis of changes in net assets and fund balances. So line 1 reports the total net assets or fund balances at the beginning of the year. Line 2 is used to report the amount that is on part 1, line 27A. Other increases not included on line 2 are reported using line 3. Add lines 1, 2, and 3 to get the amounts that will be reported on line 4. Decreases from line 2 are reported on line 5. Total net assets or fund balances at the end of the year are reported on line 6. So in part 4 is used to figure the amount of capital gains to report on lines 7 and 8 of part 1. And part 4 does not apply to foreign organizations. So when we move down to part 5, qualifications under section 4940E or for reduced tax or net investment income. This part is used by domestic foundations, exempt and taxable, to determine whether they qualify for the reduced 1% tax under section 4940E on net investment income rather than the 2% tax on net investment income under section 4940A. If this is your organization's first year, part 5 will not be completed. So as we move on down into part 6, this section is for the excise tax based on investment income. And by putting in this information, it'll help gauge your excise tax. If we move down into Part 7A, the statement regarding activities, each question in this section must be answered yes, no, or not applicable. Line 1 is for political purposes. On line 2, you'll answer the question, has the foundation engaged in any activities that have not previously been reported to the IRS? Line 3, you can indicate if any changes have been made and not reported to the IRS in regards to governing articles of incorporation or bylaws or other similar instruments. Gross income, liquidation, and assets will also be addressed here as in this section as well. Books and care of information is reported in this section as well. So in Part 7B, statement regarding activities which Form 4720 may be required. The purpose of these questions is to determine whether there is any initial excise tax due under certain sections. And if you answer yes to those questions, complete the Form 4720 unless an exception applies. So we'll move down to Part 8. Part 8 is information about officers, directors, trustees, foundation managers, and highly paid employees and contractors. So on one of this section, you'll list all officers, directors, and trustees, and foundation managers and their compensation. On the second part, you'll list the 5 highest paid employees. If there's none, you will enter in none. For Part 3 is the 5 highest paid independent contractors for professional services. And if you don't have any of those either, you will put none. And then in Part 9, Section B, the summary of program-related investments. You describe the 2 largest program-related investments made by the foundation during the tax year on lines 1 and 2. Line 3 is for all other program-related investments. So we're going to continue down to Part 10. Part 10 is the minimum investment return. All domestic foundations must complete this part. This section is used to report the fair market values, monthly cash balances, and cash deemed held for charitable activities, as well as other information. And all that's reported there in Part 10. So in Part 11, that's for distributable amount. The distributable amount for 2019 is the amount that the foundation must distribute by the end of 2020 as qualifying distributions to avoid the 30% tax on the undistributed portion. So in Part 12, we have qualifying distributions. Qualifying distributions are amounts spent or set aside for religious, educational, or similar charitable purposes. The tax amount for qualifying distributions for any years is used to reduce the distributable amount for specific years to arrive at an undistributable income for those years. So in Part 13 is for undistributable income. If you check item D2 in the heading on page 1, you will not fill out this part. But the purpose of this part is to enable a foundation to comply with the rules for applying its qualified distributions for the tax year of 2019. And we'll move on down into Part 14, which is for private operating foundations. All organizations that claim the status of private operating foundations have to fill in this information here. And then for Part 15, we have the supplementary information. You complete this part only if the foundation had 5,000 or more in assets at any time during the year. Part 16A is analysis of income producing activities, and it's used to analyze revenue items that are also entered in as on Part 1, lines 3 through 11, column A, and on line 5B. Contributions reported on line 1 of Part 1 aren't entered in on Part 16A. Part 16B is relationship of activities to the accomplishment of exempt purposes. You explain how activities for which income is reported in column E of Part 16A contributed importantly to the accomplishment of the foundation's exempt purpose. And then in Part move down into a Part 17. So in Part 17, this is the last part of the 990 PF, and it's where you report information regarding transfers to and transactions and relationships with non-charitable exempt organizations. So it's used to report direct and indirect transfers to and direct and indirect transactions with the relationship of non-charitable exempt organizations. So all that will be reported here. And then the last part of the Form 990 PF is the signature. So when you are filing a 990 PF, you do have to sign that form. It is required, and this is where you would do that here. And that was just a little bit, a brief touch on what's reported for those sections in the 990 PF. So today we have discussed the Form 990 PF, what the form is, who must file that form and the information required, the deadlines, and how to file that form, and how filing with Express Tax Exempt can simplify the process and save you time and money. So we want to thank everyone today for joining us. Again, feel free to contact our U.S.-based support team by phone. Our phone number is 704-839-2321. You can always email us at support@expresstaxexempt.com, or you can reach us online through chat on our website of expresstaxexempt.com. Thank you all so much and have a great day.